Hello guys, welcome back to another Conan build video. In this one, we are going to be building something that is also different. So before I built pagoda, I've built a Greek temple recently, and now we're actually going to be building a Japanese castle. Now, when you think of Japanese castle, you think of something like maybe Himeji Castle, which I'll put an image on the screen right now. And the reason why I'm building a Japanese castle, something similar to Himeji Castle, but it's not going to be a full-fledged, like one-to-one scale of Himeji Castle. It's going to be similar to it. The reason why I'm building it is because of a commenter who I'll put their suggestion right on the screen right now. They wanted me to build a Japanese castle, so that's what we're going to be doing today. So where I am right now is in F9 in the Highlands. And this is close to Chaos Mouth and Devil's Squat. So this is kind of in a very open plains area in the Highlands. And the reason I chose here is because it is relatively flat and there's a lot of space here to work with. So this is probably the best place to kind of build this sort of thing. The other idea I had was probably building it on a mountainside, but thinking of accessibility as well as space, it might be a little harder to do that. So I think you don't have to build it here. You can build it anywhere you want. This is just going to be kind of like a small, quote unquote, small version of a Japanese castle. So this entire castle is going to be built only out of Yamatai. Since Yamatai is very pretty much related to Japanese architecture, very similarly with colors and style, that's what we're going to be using. So I'm actually going to be using a lot of the foundations too because I was practicing earlier with this and I was trying to figure out a good height for this because typically with Japanese castles, they have a huge stone foundation, a tall and wide stone foundation before you actually get to the actual like building part of it, like the wood and all the materials that come with the rest of the castle. So we're gonna build a stone base. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go one, two, and it doesn't really matter which way you face this because this floor right here is not going to be really relevant at the moment, um, really at all, because the in between, in the middle, is going to be ceilings. So you'll see once we get to that point. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're going to do 10 right there, and we're going to make this into a square. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you want to go 10 that way, 10 this way, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 until you meet up with the line right there where that one ends, and then you just close the rest of it off as such. Just like that. So now you have a square. So the next thing you want to do is actually this is actually a great time to utilize these ramps. Now, I've had a little bit of trouble though because I can use these regular ramps, but I cannot use the Yamatai corners for some reason. So let me show you. So I can put these two here, but it doesn't seem like that this corner wants to connect. The only thing that does is a roof piece. Which is very strange. So there's kind of a gap here that is happening, and I don't understand why. I think it's just the game being a little silly. At least I think so. But the thing is that you can use the ramp corner on the top of the foundation, which is also strange. So those kind of things, it's a bit odd. But before we actually use the ramps themselves, we actually want to build this up another level. So again, it doesn't really matter exactly which direction these are facing because this is not going to be the main floor here. So we just want to build this up 2 times. Actually, no. Build it up 3 times, because 3 times is actually high enough for what we're wanting to do here. To give us a tall enough base. You can build this taller, shorter, however high you want, however short you want. Just to give it enough room to work with um, in terms of stuff that's underneath here, because you can actually use this as a basement. Or if you just want it on ground level, that works too. Because the main shape of it is actually going to come to the point where we're using the walls, the walls, the windows, roof pieces, everything of that sort. So I think just to get a good measure for this, I should go up 4, because when you look at pictures of Japanese castles, or in this case, Himeji Castle as a prime example, they're really tall. The foundations are very, very tall. And they're kind of like, um, they have a very steep incline, but we can't really do that without it looking more like a pyramid in this game. So we kind of have to go have a ramp or like a slanted part and then go up straight and then slant again. That's the only way to kind of do that. So, but I'm gonna take these ramps and just go all the way around with them. Just layer the outside of it, just like this. And if you're wondering about an entrance, we'll get to that. We'll get to that soon. It's just right now we're gonna be focusing on just the middle part of this build. And these corners here, since I can't really use the ramps for some reason, I don't know if that has to do with because it's not connected to a ceiling, if it's not connected to something else, I'm just going to use the roof piece as a substitute. It looks a little bit weird, but it also doesn't look good just leaving an empty corner like that. So I'm just going to go all the way around and use these roof pieces just to fill in those positions. All right. So now the next thing is we're going to take the ramps again and we're going to go up one more time. But before I do that, to give us a little bit more support, we're going to take these walls, these Yamatai walls, and go all the way around. So see what I mean when I said that the foundations, the floors of those foundations aren't going to be used at all for the floor, so it doesn't really matter how this is used here. And it doesn't matter with these walls, whichever direction they're facing, because this is going to be technically the basement part. So let's take our ramps again, our Yamatai ramps, and just go all the way around again. And now this time we can actually use these Yamatai ramp corners since it's actually sitting upon a foundation. Which, I mean, again, is a bit weird how it doesn't connect to the other ramps when it's on the ground. I think it has to sit on something. I don't know, because the ramps work without having to sit on something. It just connects to it. And I think because there's not really any support in the corner, like, you'd think it connect to the sides, but I guess it just doesn't work like that the way that the game works. At least the way it registers whether or not it has support or not, so... It's fine. It is fine. But there we go. So once that's all together, like so, we have this sort of interesting square shape. We're going to take our... Actually, we're going to take our ceilings first. We're going to take our ceilings. And you can face these whatever direction you want. For this build, I'm just going to have them face vertically from the way I'm facing. Just like this. And we're going to eventually close this up. And if you want to, you can use what's underneath. Whatever thing you want to. Because that could, underneath there, could be where all the benches go. I don't think there's enough space for all of them, but there is a lot of space here to actually utilize it for a lot of crafting space. So I think that's a good idea to do that. And we might, in this build, we might actually do something with it. Or you could use it as, I guess, some kind of dungeon or whatever you might think of, where you put the sorcery stuff down there, where you're sacrificing NPCs and stuff like that. So be really, really cool. So as I'm going through this, you could see that there's not really much support going on in the middle here, and that is because there actually isn't any support happening right now. So I'm going to take some of these pillars. Now, we could use the Yamatai pillars, which are good, and the only problem I have with them, and you'll see in just a moment, is when I connect them to the ceiling there, they want to kind of phase through the top like this, which is a bit odd. I don't understand why it does that, but, you know, I did say we're going to use all Yamatai, but you could use whatever else you want. You don't necessarily have to use the same things I'm using here. It's just whatever you feel is necessary. Whatever you think looks better than anything else. And I wonder, can I use... Yeah, I can use that. Because this is going to be important, so I'm just going to use a hatch there. Just like that to get down. I might use... Actually, you know what? I might use that in a corner instead of just right in the middle, because that might be, you know, giving away the position or something. And then make sure that this middle bit here gets pillars, so that way there's an even distribution of support throughout the entire build like that. So that is how it's covered up there. Now, we're going to take our Yamatai walls, and we're going to go through these corners first. Starting off with the corners, just closing these corners off with the walls, like so. Going out like that until all these corners are complete. And then we're going to leave a space here and put a wall there. Leave a space here, put a wall there, and we're going to leave 2 spaces in the middle. And you want to do that for each side. So you want to leave 1 space and then wall, and then 2 spaces, then wall, depending on if you're going left to right or right to left. Just as long as you have this kind of pattern going across the entire square. And then in between that, you're going to put windows. So windows on those spaces that you see. And you just want to go all the way around with them, just like so. Sometimes they're a little bit finicky, like I'm having a little bit of trouble putting these down for some reason, probably because it's wanting to attach to other things. And it wants to face the opposite direction, probably because of the ramp that's there. But now we have technically the first floor just about completed, because we're going to take another layer of walls, and these are just regular walls, Yamatai walls, and we just want to go all the way around. And keep in mind that it really... You can make this castle look pretty similar if you're using a different kind of building material, because if you don't have the Yamatai building kit, I guess I'll call it a kit because it comes with like blocks and stuff. You can substitute with anything else that you want. This is just to make sure that, you know, this is like Japanese castle using a Japanese inspired building pack for this kind of build. So if you're wondering what kind of support I'm going to have in the middle and exactly how we're going to be climbing up to different floors, is in the middle here, what I'm going to do is just build just an elevator shaft. That's all I'm going to do. I'm going to build an elevator shaft, and the door is going to be right there. And I'm going to have this face on the outside like so, and we're just going to build up. And this castle is going to be pretty tall, so you might want to just build up and up and up and up. Because with Japanese castles, each floor is a little bit smaller than the last one. And you'll see once we actually get to the next floor and the next floor after that, etc., etc. So just build this up because this will be very important later. And as we build our floors, we'll build a door frame and put an elevator. And the elevator's not going to go all the way up because then you'll have to kind of finagle with the elevator where you're just going to get off while the elevator's still going up to the next floor. We're going to do multiple elevators throughout this. So, all right. So we have that shaft going up. You might have to build it taller than that, but we'll get to that point when we need to. All right. So the next part is we are going to take our roof pieces now. And we're going to take our corner ones and just go all the way around each corner here, just like so. And we're going to take our regular sloped roofs and kind of connect them up like this. But I'm not going to do it on all sides because there's two ways I'm going to do this. So one is on this side, which I'm thinking this is where the front door is going to be. And we'll get around that. We'll get to that point near the end. So I'm going to take, let's see. Yeah, actually you want to go at least one on each side. Yeah, go one on each side with those regular roof pieces. So then we want to take our corner, our inverted, not our corner, excuse me, our inverted corner roof pieces. And we're going to have them face outward like this, and then you want to do this on the opposite side. And we're not going to do this on all the sides because the opposite sides are going to be the same. So the front and the back are going to be the same, but they're not going to match the left and right side. So you're actually going to get rid of this one, and these two as well. And I just wanted to put those there just for reference, just to kind of get even there, but then, kind of change up the style a little bit. So that way it's, going to be, you're going to look at it from a different perspective on each side, if that makes sense. I don't know if I'm making sense by saying it in that way, but you'll see what I mean. So we want to take our inverted pieces and connect them together like this on each side here, so on the left side and right side, and then we want to do the exact same thing here. And you can put the regular slope roof pieces together like that first in the middle, and then just go in with the inverted, or you can do inverted first like I did with the opposite side and do the regular roof pieces after. And then we're going to go in with our sloping walls here and close them off like this. And we're going to do this for this side as well. And this is going to be a little bit bigger. It's going to be one wall height taller than the left and right sides. And then you just want to make sure that each piece has those sloping pieces where they're going to meet together. Just like this. And then you take your regular roof pieces and just connect them up like that. You're going to do this for this side as well. Just like that. And you have something like this. Now, if you want to instead, just to kind of make sure it doesn't look all blank and whatnot, there's two methods that I've thought about with this. So you could either just add a bit of a thing on the outer part here and just connect it up with these wedge roof pieces like that. And then maybe you want to connect them up like this, or it's like that, which honestly, that looks kind of good. Not gonna lie, that looks pretty good. I kind of like that. So we're gonna keep it. We're gonna keep it. We're gonna do the same thing on this side too. Now it might not look really Japanese castle-esque, but it's kind of like an interpretation of, or something that's close to, not 100%, because obviously you can't really do 100% Japanese castle in Conan. You could probably do it in maybe Minecraft, because Minecraft is a little bit more flexible in that, but not with this game. Anyway, so we are done with this floor technically. Now we just need to put in the ceilings. Just like so, all the way around. And that part's gonna get closed off because there's gonna be walls, another layer of walls that are gonna come in here in a second once we fill in this floor. And this floor is gonna be where the first elevator is going to take you. So you just want to cover each open space here, and it could be a little tricky. In creative mode, this just makes it so much easier, but I know in survival, PvE survival, it could be kind of a pain, especially if you don't put the stairs down first, which in survival, you definitely do that first. So that way it's easier to climb. But building roofs, believe you me, I'm climbing up those roofs all the time. It's kind of funny. All right, so elevator. So I need to figure out where these elevators are. I don't think it's in decoration. No. Okay, I found them. I always forget that they're in building pieces. So we're just gonna use the fast elevator vertical. And we wanted to put, I think I'll just put a floor here because it's gonna be necessary. Put them here. Just like so. Actually, I think it'll be better if I put it in the corner like that. I don't know why I get rid of those other ceilings. But we put it in the corner like this. Go to special. Excuse me. Okay, so I could not... The elevator was being weird because it would want to attach itself to the top here instead of down here. So what I had to do was just use a ladder, and it's silly. Yeah, I had to use a hatch for the ladder, so it's fine. It works. This is okay. I mean, it's an alternative, I guess. So we'll just deal with it for now. So elevator being a bit strange. I don't know if it was because it was trying to detach. It was just trying to attach to one ceiling, one floor higher than this. And that was just very strange. So, all right. That's just very, very weird. All right, I'm just going to build this up again, and I'm just going to build it up a little bit higher. Because this shaft here is actually going to be meeting up with the final floor as well. Okay. So, after that little fiasco that I had, we can move on to the next floor here. So, do the same thing as before with the first one, which is just close off these corners here with regular walls. And this time, too, you can close off the middle portion, too, since it's kind of blocking its path, its visual path there, so you can't really see. If you put windows there, there's no reason to put them there because they're just blocking a person's vision since there's a roof there. So these spaces here, just as before, fill these spaces in with windows. And once you go all the way around, just like this, the next thing is just layer it off with another set of regular walls. And then we'll be moving on to the roof part again. So really this entire build is actually pretty simple, but it looks good in the end. Like, it's a simple build that looks really aesthetically pleasing. All right, so let's take our roof pieces here. We get a corner ones right here. Just like so. Same as before, same as the first one, except it's a little bit smaller. Now, instead of making a big triangle like I did here, what we're going to do instead is we're going to make a smaller triangle. So I'm going to take these regular sloping roofs, put on one layer there, and then, just like that, make the triangle there. And we're actually going to do the same thing on each side. So we want to just, you could put on the sloping walls first if you want to, instead of the roofs, or you can go with the roofs first and then the sloping corners. That is totally up to you. I just know that this game sometimes, which you've seen in my previous builds, if you haven't, I recommend checking them out. I know that this game sometimes does not like a certain order where you do certain things. Like if you want to attach a building piece with another, it's like, nope, you got to do it in this order first or else I'm not going to cooperate with you. And it's just like, okay, great, fine. I have to destroy all this, start again, and then you start working. Then I put this in at this step of the build instead of first or last or whatever. Well, not first, but probably the last step. And it's usually the last step. All right, so that is another layer down. Another floor just about completed. And again, just take your ceiling pieces and just go all the way around, just like so. All the way around. And have them make sure that they're facing the same direction as well. Just have that consistency, because on the surface up here, you can see a difference, but below, not really. Because the ceiling doesn't really have a specific horizontal or vertical pattern that you'll be able to tell, unlike the actual floor itself when you're looking at it from this angle. But it's still good to have it this way, because you'll probably see them go like horizontal, vertical, and it's just a bit, it'll be annoying. All right. So moving on, we're actually almost done. So the next part, putting in another ceiling here at the top like this. And I'm going to put the ladder in that corner instead this time. So get the hatch frame, get ourselves a ladder right here, and then just kind of connect it up if I can. Oh, there we go. Just like that. Yeah, I know. I remember last time trying to figure out a ladder. I couldn't for the life of me figure out, like, how does this attach to it? How do I do this? But I figured it out finally. All right. So for this, the next floor, close off the corners, just like so. But this time you actually have a gap of 2. And this gap, again, fill in with windows. Just like this. Easy peasy. And then rinse and repeat. Take your walls, layer them up at a second time. No windows on this top part here, just nothing but walls. And you close it off like that. And you just take your roof pieces, get your corner ones in, like so. And instead of using our regular sloped pieces, we're going to take our inverted ones. And this will be the last bit here where we actually do the inverted roof pieces, because it is going to be too small for us to do that for the next one. I mean, well, technically not really, which I could show an example of it once we get to that point. So we're going to finish off the shaft here as well, just like this. And if you want to, you don't really have to have the shaft here, because this technically right here could be the final floor if you want it to be, because really the floor up there is not going to have any space whatsoever. It barely has any room. So I think for the sake of the build, I think we're just going to get rid of this part here, the shaft. Yeah. Yeah, so that way there's a little bit more room at the top, and this could be a bedroom that you're going to decide to use. At least that's what I would use it as. This build's not going to be furnished, by the way, just because with how big this build is going to be, because I'd say we are a little over halfway done. Yeah, it is going to take a little bit. So yeah, the furnishing will definitely be an extra layer added on, and yeah, don't really want to. I mean, and this gives you free reign to furnish it however you want. Um, I could probably do a separate video and furnish it if you guys want to see me do that. Because I know the furnishing will definitely take a long time to do, and it does take me a while to figure out what exactly I want to put into there. So for this last bit here, I'm putting all windows and the last layer of regular walls going up like this. Now, what I was referencing before is I could take these sloped, these inverted roof pieces and go all the way around like, like this. And that way we can have each side have like a triangle shape with it. But I don't think for a Japanese castle it doesn't really look that good at the top like that. I mean, maybe. Doesn't look too bad, but I kind of want to close off the roof entirely. So I want to use the corner sloped roof pieces and close it off just like that. Yeah, that looks a lot better. But look at that. We actually have our full-fledged castle, the main part of the castle, that is. Look at that. That actually looks really good. I think it turned out really nice. But we're not done yet. So you're probably thinking, these roof pieces are bothering me, and I'm thinking kind of the same thing. So what I want to do instead is I want to make little towers in the corner just to fill in that little gap since I couldn't use the Yamatai corner ramps for some odd reason because the game is a bit silly. So I'm just going to take more of these foundations and just connect them to the corner. So I have to take a block there and put one there and then get rid of the block again on there. So on the ramp. Then replace it with the ramp again. So something like this, but these towers aren't going to be that big. They're because doing a 3x3 really in just a square fashion doesn't really make sense, and it just looks kind of awkward if you're having it up against the castle. So I think I'm just going to do a 2x2, and we're just going to layer it up. I don't know why those are red. That's a bit odd. Kind of a visual bug there, I guess. So I'm just going to build this up pretty much the same height as the base of the castle here, of the main part of the castle build. And I just want to layer these up all the way like so. And I kind of want to bring it down one level. I think it looks better just one level down, rather than being on the exact same level, just because these are smaller towers, so, less significant, quote unquote. And these are just for looks, so they're not going to really have much significance at all. It's just going to be there to fill in those corners, because those corners were a little bit annoying, not going to lie. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a layer of windows here and just go all the way around and also build this up. And what I'm actually going to do is layer this even taller and finish it off with one more layer of windows up here. Because I at least want them to be tall enough to have some, you can actually see them quite well. And having them too short just wouldn't make sense either. So we have something like that. Basic square tower, just like that. And we're just going to go all the way around with those. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut to when I actually complete all this, and then I'll get back to you guys. Okay, so the towers are now done. Oh, this looks really good, I think. This looks really good. Now, the last thing we need to do is build the entrance to this castle. And this is a really tall, really tall base to this castle. So we could either build the entrance down below here, if you so choose to, or you can build it from the top up here. Now, I think what would look better would be if we did more of a grand staircase going up to the top here. At least I think so. So I'm going to remove those, and this might get rid of this because of support reasons, but that's okay. You can always... We'll be replacing them. We'll be replacing it back anyway. Just like so. Then replacing these two. There we go. And we're going to get rid of these ramps, because the ramps don't really make much sense. And then we're just going to put some stairs. Just like this. Now, obviously, we could just bring the stairs all the way down here, like so. So that way it's all the way down. But I might want to widen these stairs a little bit, where they're a little bit bigger, just because it's not really a grand staircase, just having them too wide. Number 2 wide. Not TOO. And then I'm going to take my foundations here and kind of layer at the top here. And these corner stairs, I don't think I really need them, so I'm just going to... That would look good, but if I'm doing that, I'd have to make the whole staircase like super duper wide, and I probably don't want to do that. It might look a little awkward if I do it like that. So this is probably the better alternative anyway. And then layer that up there. Might be a little finicky if I, yeah. Layer it just like that. And I think that looks good, honestly. I think so. And then what I could probably do is put some fencing around this. Just on each layer here. Just like that. And then I could probably put some braziers, just some lights down, which I think would be nice. Is there a Yamatai light here? Doesn't look like there is. So the next best thing would just be the Keton braziers, like so. Actually pretty bright. Oh yeah, that's really bright, but that's really nice too. I like that. That is actually really good. And then the doors, obviously we could put the doors right there. Just like so. And I think what would be really nice to have is probably some lights on the corners, although I don't think I can probably put a brazier that's like hanging off the corner like so. Yeah, like that. Because it's a little awkward, so maybe torches might be the next best thing, just kind of setting them up in the corner. And if I'm doing like maybe a small one, that's too small. Too small. Maybe something like this. Those right in the corner like so. Just that way it kind of fills in kind of a little gap there. Alright, look at that. So I added some statues here as well for the front entrance of the castle, and I added a bunch of lights. I added some Turanian braziers that are hanging on the walls on each side. I think it looks really good. This turned out a lot better than I actually expected, because I thought it was going to look a little bit more boxy, I think. I mean, it is a square, but the way that we have it layered, and especially with the front entrance, it just looks so good. I really like it. And I really hope you guys liked it too. let me know what you thought of this build because I thought that this was actually a great suggestion. Thank you so much for suggesting this. And if you have any other ideas for something I could build, I could probably take on another interpretation of maybe another castle, or I've also thought about doing maybe an Aztec temple or something. I could try to do something with that, or I can even do another pagoda build, but this time it'll be more like a cube pagoda. Um, Whatever you guys have in mind and whatever I think of you guys will see it firsthand. So, if you guys did enjoy this, be sure to hit that like button if you haven't already. I would really appreciate that. I'm gonna give a little tour while I tell my spiel. And if you, yeah, don't forget to subscribe as well because that lets me know that you guys enjoy the content on the channel and would like to see more. I'd like to give a shout out to my friends Gabe and Barry Medley for being members of the channel. And if you and if you'd like to become a member, you can hit the join button down below. I'd really appreciate that. I forgot to put those underneath there. Oopsie, but I'm glad I remembered before I ended this off. But I've been Savvy. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one, whether it be Conan build video or Paper Mario. But bye guys. See you later.